Well, this is what junior college football is all about. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the National Sports Radio station on Spreaker.com. Alongside Dan Gadino and the entire national sports broadcast crew, I'm your host, Nick Rice, for tonight's ball game. And partner, welcome to the jungle. Wheelock Stadium between two of the top teams in Southern California.
Tonight, the Fullerton Hornets take on the RCC Tigers here live in Riverside. It should be a high-scoring affair from what I've seen in the stats. Last week, Fullerton escaped Golden West. They played host to Golden West in a game which they won 66-43. Super high-scoring, and now that we've established possibly who the starting quarterback is going to be, Nicholas King out of Westchester High School, who had a tremendous game last week. He came into the second quarter and had impressive numbers. There's no telling what his final numbers would have been if he would have started. He finished the game 12 of 19, 63%, 171 yards. And here's what really impressed me. On 11 rushing attempts, he had 103 yards and 1 TD. So this guy's automatically a playmaker, and I think that's what Riverside needed with all their offensive woes going back even into week 1 where they started off slow against Bakersfield, but they eventually blew him out because of the strong defense they have. So it should be a high-scoring affair, Nick.
Yeah, what's amazing is that our quarterback, Nick King, outgained all of the running backs last week. I mean, this is a quarterback, a dual threat, to say the absolute least. And, Dan, talk about last week's game. You mentioned finishing the game 171 passing yards and also adding an extra 100-plus on the ground. But this is a man, as a sophomore, that was put to the backup role last week, and, in fact, at one point was the number 3 gunslinger on our football team, and he has really made amends. Now claiming the starting job, we perceive here for the Tigers for the going forward.
Well, let's go back to that game against El Camino. It was a struggle in the beginning, a game in which we thought, well, here we go again. RCC is going to blow it, although they have the better talent, although they have the better defense. Their offense is the thing that was holding them back. Kelly Helinsky, who's been credited for 7 turnovers already in this young season. He went 5 of 4 last week, but it was all short yardage, all intermediate passes, nothing big, for a total of 36 yards.
You mentioned the one incompletion. What was that?
I wouldn't be able to tell you, but I do know. It was an interception, right?
Yeah, it was a touchdown, but to the wrong team. A pick six, and the lone score here, the lone touchdown by an opponent at home this year, and it wasn't even by our defense.
I feel like Tom Kraft just had it. He was like, I'm fed up with this. And then he said, Nick King, take it away. And Nick King took control of that position, and I say he should be starting. But Coach Kraft didn't talk to us during the week a lot. It seems like they've taken on the next level, the next phase of their squad. We didn't get to talk to him at all, so we don't know who's going to be their starting quarterback. It could still be Kelly Helinsky, but I got to go with Nick King if I'm Tom Kraft.
All right, we'll talk more about Nick King in a moment. We have the national anthem here at Wheelock Stadium.
May he rest in peace. God bless. Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, remove all headgear for the playing of our national anthem.
want to thank you all for joining us here on Spreaker.com's own National Sports. We are a matter of moments between here and kickoff. Just to talk real quick about the quarterback situation here, Dan. Nicholas King, our sophomore, who ironically is a transfer from El Camino College. His first game came against the Camino Warriors, and he finished with some fantastic statistics. And he was their number one passer and rusher statistically as a freshman in 2012, redshirted last year, and now is ready to make an impact here for the Tigers.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about his freshman year, but how about his senior year in high school at Westchester? 20 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions.
That's
so
amazing.
It's a guy who protects the ball, and it's most likely because his ability to run the ball. He's able to get outside the pocket, and when he's in trouble, well, he passes that line of scrimmage and gets us some yards.
Well, Fullerton College, in what is now the game of the week in Southern California, elected to defer. The Hornets will kick off here to begin this football game. We'll receive to begin the second half. Again, just a reminder, I want to thank you for joining us here, the National Sports Radio station here on Spreaker.com. Daniel Godino and the entire broadcast crew, and Nick Rice here. We are just moments away from the start of this football game. As back deep to receive for the Tigers is Tremel Davis, our halfback, and then number 7 for the Tigers, Jermel Walker, both back deep to receive. Who's both the kicker and the punter, along with the kickoff man. Casey Iman approaches and sends this one a high wobbler angled towards the sideline and will bounce out of bounds. A late flag, and the Tigers, off the penalty, will start at the 40-yard line, Dan.
My key to the game for Riverside is established a run game. They are a powerful run team. When Denzel Foster has the ball last week against, well, let me tell you what he's done so far in the season before I tell you what he did last week. 60 attempts, 329 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's averaging 5 yards a pop. That's exactly what Riverside needs. Last week on 11 carries, 92 yards, 1 touchdown. Not bad, along with Nick King, and who is coming onto the field.
He is our starter.
There we go. Now we know.
This is his first official game starting in the JuCo level since midway through 2012 at El Camino College. We begin the game with a pistol set. Give goes to Denzel Foster, looking for a hole and has it on his feet, 40, and shimmies his way out to the 46-yard line. An impressive gain of 11, Dan, to start the game.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to start off the game like. Denzel Foster right down the middle, gives him a little stiff arm. Great, showing his great strength right there. Getting 11 yards, automatic first down, yeah.
Well, our running back Foster is starting to become more involved. After 14 carries last week, that's his first in today's game. Another pistol set handoff to Foster. Has room across midfield. It is dragged down after gain of 8 yards. 2 carries already, Dan, and 19 yards on the ground. Found by our halfback, who ironically has 0 D1 offers so far.
Yeah, like we mentioned before kickoff, the key to the game for Riverside on offense will be to pound that rock.
Well, it's a hurry-up set here. Dotting the I's, Foster breaks off a tackle, first down and more, and he'll reach his way out to around the 40-yard line for a gain of 6. Tackle made by Walter Robinson, the linebacker.
Hey, if I'm Riverside right now, I've got some rhythm, I've got some momentum. I want to do a play-action fake and give it a try to the end zone right now. Would be perfect.
Well, 3 carries for 25 yards already for our halfback to begin the game. He checks out. And in behind the quarterback in the pistol set is Christopher Anderson. Give goes to Anderson, has room across the 40, and he's tripped up at around the 38-yard line by one of the dominant defensive lines for the Fullerton College Hornets, Jeremy Bashford out of Whittier. This is a defensive line that flat out took control of the game last week against Golden West.
Well, although they did late, they started off slow. When your defense allows over 40 points, that says, hey, there are some holes in this defense.
There are a few. Second down and 8. Pass is low and incomplete. Intended for Jermel Walker.
That's exactly what I wanted to see. I wanted to see Nick King's first pass, and it turns out to be a not-so-pretty one. Throws it in the dirt right there.
Well, Nick King... we mentioned the inconsistencies last week, only 12 of 19 there, Dan. But when his number was called upon, he did a much better job statistically than Helinski. Third down, hesitates. King will rush out of the pocket, still looking, fires on the run, and has Jermel Walker to the 30, and zigzags to the 24, pinballed for a gain of 14, Dan. 3rd and 8, move the chains.
Yeah, that's exactly what we talked about. Nick King is able to create He improvises right there. As soon as the ball snapped to him, he kind of does a double clutch. Hesitation. Oh, well. He rolls out to his right, gets it down to his receiver. Automatic first down. Good job.
Darius Hunter, our receiver, only 4 catches coming in, already 2 on this drive. Handoff to Foster across the 20, still reaching, and crawls his way for yet another 10-yard pickup just shy of the first down. They've had 4 first downs on this drive alone, Dan.
You're right. And you mentioned Darius Hunter only having 4 receptions. That has a lot to do with Kelly Helinski being comfortable with his set of receivers. Now, all receivers are going to get shots here with King being that running quarterback.
King will throw and fires to Whitney. Flag is down to the 10, and he zigzags around the 9. We'll check the penalty, but you mentioned that Darius Hunter didn't get a whole lot of receptions, some of which might have been by Isaac Whitney, our stud receiver.
Yeah, that guy's been flat out a baller this season. Everything that comes his way, he's going to grab and make plays.
A defensive penalty, but what's amazing, Isaac Whitney, our receiver, received his 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th Division I offer this week. 4 D1 scholarships, and the last by Vanderbilt University. I mean, you take a look at this list of scholarship offers by Isaac Whitney, and it is, frankly, a laundry list. First down and either 10 to go, but it'll be from the 1-quarter line. No, they'll make it 1st and goal from sitting right at the 10 is the nose of the football. And Nick King begins the game 2 out of 3 passing after that reception first on the day by Isaac Whitney. He'll be located to the near-hand side. 1-on-1 against Fullerton's top target. Handoff goes to Foster looking for a hole. Bounce back to the outside. And Corey Gabriel, who had a monster performance last week, is in on the tackle. Loss of 2.
Loss of 2, but RCC is over 80% when they're in the red zone. A team, every time they get down there, will come away with points.
Yeah, they've done it all, but I believe 2 or 3 times this season.
You're right.
It's been amazing how Riverside is able to cash in on those golden opportunities. 2nd down and goal from the 14. King looking left, hoists it towards the end zone. Out of the back, intended for Isaac Whitney. 3rd and goal here with 11:43 to go, no score.
Pressure right there, getting to Whitney, having to throw off his back foot. Throws it way, way back in the end zone, incomplete.
Now, Riverside would love to cash in with a touchdown, this being one of the more dominant, at least scoring offenses in the JuCo world. Fullerton scored 66 last week against Golden West. They're going to need every point possible. Nick King on a 3rd and goal from the 14-yard line. 9th play of the drive. Back to throw. King looking end zone. Steps up in the pocket, looking, fires on the run. Completes to Whitney to the 5. Reaching to the end zone. Did he score? Yes. Touchdown, Denzel Foster, our halfback, in for the score.
I'm telling you, this guy Nick King is elusive. He's a creator, a playmaker, a guy who got in trouble right there, had to step in and finds his receiver to the far side on the flats. It's his ability to be a runner that makes him such a great passer as well.
Well, Nick King was dead to rights in the backfield and now gets the praise of Maryland University potential commit Kelly Helinski down there on the near sideline. King on an impressive 10-play, 65-yard scoring drive finds our halfback for a 14-yard score. How about that, Dan, for an opening drive?
Yeah, I'll add also vision. He's got the ability to keep his head in a swivel, continuously looking downfield instead of looking at the pass rush. That's one thing I just saw right there, and good job, Nick King.
That's a good point, Dan. When you talk about what makes a quarterback great, it's his ability that when the pocket is closing around him. You see that from the greats of the NFL players. You talk about Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. A lot of them are able to do it within the pocket. And King, we saw there, able to use his feet to find his receiver for the score.
Hey, when the pocket collapses, when danger is coming, it's no time to panic for Nick King. Nick King, he trusts his legs. He trusts his speed, steps up quickly into the pocket. Very impressive there.
Well, it's unfortunate that our main halfback does have to trot off the field, luckily on his own power.
Yeah, he's okay.
But, I mean, I'm sure he'll take that, given that he scored the touchdown. That is his 2nd receiving score of the season, 1st of the last 3 weeks. He scored against Grossmont College in what was, Dan, a very ugly performance. But luckily, this team looks far different now offensively. Whether it's Helinski or not, this team is scoring points.
That's exactly what I wanted to mention. This is a completely different team from even last week, I would say.